Good evening, fellow Plexers. Today's video goes out to Kelly, and she had a question in a Plex support group about Channels DVR. She's got a Plex Pass. She's not exactly happy with Plex's DVR experience, and we chatted both publicly and privately about Channels DVR. And then she told me that Philo has a new free Channels experience that doesn't cost anything. So I know that Channels DVR has a TV Everywhere experience, and I've used that in the past. So I went ahead and added the free Philo to Channels, and it's not exactly perfect, but you get similar channels to what you get with Pluto TV or Plex's free TV. So if I go into, I'm not in the Channels DVR settings that often because I never need to. If I go into my sources, you'll see I've got two different HD home run tuners added, and I have these free channels from Philo. And when I first set it up, I couldn't see how to record a program from the web interface. But with the Android TV app on my NVIDIA Shield, it was easy, and I set up some test recordings. So you could just use something like this, or a regular Philo subscription, or YouTube TV subscription, or Sling TV, or Hulu TV. They all have a certain number of their channels as TV Everywhere enabled. Unfortunately, since I've tested this last a few years ago, certain networks have made their TV Everywhere channels DRM'd, which means they will only work in their own branded app. So if the History Channel has a app you can log in with your credentials from another service, then that's the app that you can watch live TV on or use their VOD. If the TV Everywhere channel isn't under DRM, Channels DVR can load it, and then you can live view or record it just like any other channel from an HD home run OTA tuner or a Prime tuner if you still have a cable card working. So that's the setup. Kelly's interested in trying that. So let's go to my Synology NAS where I store my media. Both my Plex container and my Channels DVR container are running under Unraid on a little NUC with the media on this NAS. So I've given my test Plex package install permission to see this Channels DVR folder. And you'll see there's a TV folder, and mostly Channels DVR names compliantly with Plex. So we're going to test that out in this video. We're going to point a library at this this folder right here. So let me bring my web app in. Alright, so I'm on this test server. So I'll add a library, TV show library. And I'll call it just CDVR. So I know this shared folder is on volume 1. And here it is. And I'll click into the TV library, hit add. And normally I pull all episode ordering from TVDB. Honestly, I don't know what channel uses the movie database or TVDB. So I'll just use TVDB like I normally do and click add. So a show has to be in either the movie database or TVDB in order for Plex to make a match. And sometimes you can record things off your DVR that might not match properly to those databases. So like this was a test recording I made from those TV Everywhere channels from the free Philo. This really isn't the Yellowstone series, it was like some special half-hour episode that was repeated back to back all day. So this really may not have a match in the database. Now we're still pulling metadata, it looks like. But it looks like American Experience is coming in, but all the metadata hasn't found its way yet. I have one episode from last season of The Connors, and that's found metadata. This was a test recording from the TV Everywhere channel from the free Philo today. And that has not found metadata, but still, it's watchable in Plex. This was a partial recording of a news program for the NBC station out of Utica, so I would not expect there to be metadata for that. I honestly don't know what this race is. Well, let me go into the episode view. Oh, this is a news program from one of the channels I grabbed talking about tonight's presidential debate. So we wouldn't expect metadata for that. Of course, this old house pulls metadata. So for all your normal over-the-air TV shows you might record, your normal sitcoms, dramas, and normal series like that, it'll have enough metadata that Plex will be able to match up to. So, let's go back to channels. Channels does not have remote users like Plex does. It's really meant just for you. Kelli wants to share this with her mom, and because you can forward a port for it just like you can with Plex, you can easily use it while remote. So she can log her mom in with her credentials, and they'll both just see the same thing from Kelli's user experience, which is perfectly fine. And it's pretty easy to set up, and it's never once failed a recording for me, including grabbing a couple recordings today off from the free Philo TVE stuff, TV Everywhere stuff. So I grabbed that. I'm not really used to this web interface. So I don't have a lot set right now to record. Some sitcoms are starting up in the fall, well, right about now, and I'll record them. So, long story short, you can record with channels. You can use it remotely as yourself or maybe with a close family member. But anything it records can be added into Plex. Oh, and the last thing I want to mention about channels that I should have while I had the interface open is the ATSC 3.0 standard isn't finalized yet. There's a lot going on with it. Who knows if it'll ever be finalized. LG dropped out of providing the next-gen tuners on their TV sets over a copyright payment that they didn't expect to have to make. So the whole standard may be in free fall right now. But the HD Home Run Flex tuner supports these new next-gen channels as long as a station hasn't thrown DRM on them. In my Syracuse area, let me go to live TV and pick that tuner. In my Syracuse, New York area, I get Utica and Syracuse channels. Well, it looks like I've got a fourth one. I don't know what that is. My NBC, CBS, and ABC are all next-gen channels. And they record fine because none of them are behind DRM. Now, eventually, that standard is supposed to allow 4K material. But primetime, these are 1080p, just like the standard ATSC 1.0 channels. The only benefit of recording them in this format is that because of their encoding, the recording size, when made, is smaller than if you recorded the same program from the old tower. So you can save in file size. And let me see if I can show that. Sorry, I thought I hit the cough button, but I missed it. And that's why I'm not a professional YouTuber. Okay, so let's go to that Synology NAS. And into channels. Into TV. This old house is off from PBS, and it's not a next-gen channel. So for a half-hour show, we're at 2.2 and 2.1 gigabytes. Let's see. I'm glad I saved one episode of The Connors. For a same half-hour show, it's now compressed to 1.4 gigabytes. It may not sound like a lot, but if you do record a lot with a DVR, this will save space and make it easier to collect items without having to run them through Handbrake to compress them manually. So Kelly, that's about all I have to share on this. You can point a Plex library at anything Plex can see. So let's back up here. Because my Plex media is here in this shared folder on this NAS, and my channels DVR folder is here, and this test server is running on the same NAS, all I have to do is give it permission to this shared folder, and I can add media from it. So if you're running Plex and channels DVR on the same local computer, well, Plex naturally will be able to see any folder on that computer, and you could just point a library, and that may be easier to share recordings that way. I guess I'm never done talking, because if we back up here, you could even label the library Mom if you wanted to, and help her pin it to the top of her client screen. So you can do whatever you want. Plex is always very bendable, and channels DVR has some flexibility also. So thanks for watching, and happy first debate night, whoever's watching the debate.